I came home from the hospital and I picked up my guitar and I made a C chord. I told my fingers to make a C chord and I strummed the chord. There was a cacophonous, unrecognizable sound. I looked down at my fingers and I said, that is not a C chord. There was a disconnect between my brain and what I was telling my fingers to do. And that was frightening. It was in that moment I realized there's something wrong here. And that is the beginning point from which I do the majority of my teaching. Now, there's somebody listening to this video right now that's had some significant trauma, some significant upset, some significant illness, and that is where you are, in that feeling, that uncomfortable feeling tone of that space, where you're wanting to do something. Your brain is telling you to do something, but yet you're not doing it. There's a disconnect between the brain and the actuality of what's going on in terms of how that's moving through the body. It's the meaning we give that that's most important. It's not the story that matters. What most matters is the meaning we give the story. And I take you back to that story of beep, 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 1977, heart monitor in a hospital. And a wheel is rattling across a polished green hospital floor. And the doctor slides the curtain up and he peers around the corner and says, "Ma'am, how's he doing?" She said, "I don't know. He hasn't moved." And he said, in the kindest of ways, "Ma'am, I have to prepare you for if your son survives this brain aneurysm, he's going to be significantly disabled for the rest of his life. We've given him 89 blood transfusions. We cannot continue to do this. We need to pray for a miracle. He'll bleed out on the table if we remove his spleen. So we're stuck." Her brow was already furrowed from prayer and her eyes puffy from crying. Those words went into this body and they became prophetic. But it wasn't until 40 years later that I came from the hospital again, when I picked up the guitar to make a C chord, that the story actually started. That's where the story started, the next chapter. It's from this point that I do my teaching. And the meaning that I gave the story in the middle of one of the most difficult times in my life is that I can rewire my brain and how I send instructions through my awareness, through my nervous system, to be of greater service to my clients. And as it turns out, I can sit with somebody, and because I've developed a capacity to hold discomfort and uncertainty, I can pass that on to my clients and give them a sense of hope. They can actually feel it. And there are stories time and time again where tears were shed quickly because they feel me. They feel what I've been through. All it is, folks, is when you've gone through the fire, you come out with a heart that understands. When we can feel safe in a situation that's challenging, when we can feel safe in an environment where the fire alarms are going off in our past, but because we have trained our nervous system to hold that, we develop a powerful force. It's called a service nervous system. When we've gone through the fire, we come out with a heart that understands. From that service nervous system, we can do powerful things. I want to do a check right now. I want you to ask inside ASK. I want you to check as to whether or not you have a positive attitude or a negative attitude. I want you to check your self-thought and your self-talk. And I want you to check on how kind you are being towards yourself and others. ASK. Just notice where that is. That's going to give you an idea of your ability to have a wider capacity or not right now. It's all a process, folks. There's no arriving. It's ongoing, because the magic happens when who you are becoming is what you do. Now I want you to pick one event in your life, a recent event that has been somewhat difficult. And I want you to look at your attitude towards it. Is it positive? Is it negative? What is your self-talk? What is your self-thought around it? And are you being kind to yourself or kind to other people in that situation? And look at that ask framework. The reason I'm inviting you to look at that ask framework is very simple. When we learn to calm our nervous system, we develop a greater capacity to hold things that are difficult, because life's going to happen. On September 12th, from 3 to 5 p.m. Mountain Time, I'm doing a Self-Hypnosis for Identity Reclamation Workshop. And that's where this all starts. Developing the ability to hold something difficult, a situation or circumstance that's not comfortable. We all get challenged on this every single day in one way, shape, or form or another. You never know what somebody else is going through. But developing that capacity and that resiliency, when you go out through the fire, you come out with a heart that understands. And once you've made it through that challenge, you better believe there's going to be another one coming. We get to go higher and deeper. We'll talk more about that and how that works. It's not a one and done, folks. It's an ongoing process of walking through the fire to strengthen the heart that understands. If you take one thing away from this video, I'm going to invite you to take away this. The magic happens when who you are becoming is what you do. There's no arrival. It's ongoing. We're all learning, we're all growing, we're all becoming a better version of the truth of who we are. And we get to do that. We get to do that. So there's going to be a registration link in this video in the comments to go ahead and sign up for the Self-Hypnosis for Identity Reclamation Workshop on September 12th from 3 to 5 p.m. Mountain Time. I look forward to seeing you there. Until later, this is Christian Raphael, medical support clinical hypnotherapist. Be kind, be well, be a blessing.